You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
As a small business owner, you deserve more. More confidence, more connectivity, more of the tools that help your business thrive. And at Cox Business, you can expect more from us. We don't just have sales reps. We have perfect plan identifiers. People who will work with you to make sure your business gets everything it needs and nothing that it doesn't. Your business deserves more, and that's why you can expect more from Cox Business. Call 800-526-8572 to switch today.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Everybody, Wow. Money, 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 money. Tonight, Diane and
Yes.
Arnold are here, and we are undaunted. And we have this question. Well, actually, I don't know if it's a statement or a question, but Crackers, show us the money. I'll tell you, I was soaking wet the other day, but I'm in such a good mood because people are still jazzed and they're still with Mike and I. Mike and I were soaking wet. And I just want to tell you about the few. Mike, you tell them the few locations we went to. Like, first time we got out of the car at Station 2, what happened?
Beep, beep, beep. Everybody was waving, thumbs up, screaming, yay, let's go. Let's see some change.
Every place we went.
So just because we have people that don't know every place you went, you need to let them know what town you were in, etc., etc.
Station 2.
Marston's Mills.
The Wellfleet Senior Center.
Eastham.
Eastham, sorry. No, that's Wellfleet. The Wellfleet Senior Center.
Yeah, Eastham Town Building, Wellfleet Senior Center. We were in Dennis on the Bass River Road.
Orleans Rotary.
We were
all locations down the Cape.
The Adventist Day Church.
So, we were
that was on 6A.
Every polling location that we could get to, we were at. Hyannis, Centerville, Marston's Mills, Osterville.
Yeah, we were everywhere.
I think the story that I thought was one of the best stories that Mike had mentioned was the lady that was either going in to vote or had come out and was so excited because I think she had voted for Trump, but she also said that she had voted for the both of you, not realizing who she was talking to. So if you could tell that story, Mike, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, she walked up to us saying that she had just voted for Trump, and then she said, do you guys have any idea who Arnold and Haywood are? Because I just voted for them. And Darylyn said, well, I'm Haywood, and that's Arnold right there. So she had no idea who we were, but she had just voted for us.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Well, how about this? We come out of, I think it was Truro, and as soon as we take the signs out of the car, beep, 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 people wave, and we're like, we're in Truro. This is so cool. So we go to Eastham. You know, some people, they walk up to you, and some guy walked up to Mike and, you know, thought he was more knowledgeable about the Constitution and type of thing. And Mike was real humble about giving him a little bit of an education. So then someone approached me in Eastham, and he goes, I want to know, and hi, Terry, if you're listening, I want to know why I should vote for you. I said, because I believe in personal responsibility, individual liberty, and fiscal constraint. And he said, okay, well, tell me why I shouldn't vote for your opponent. And I said, because they lost every single race they ran last time, the sheriff, the district attorney, the state rep, and the state senate. And that's unacceptable in my world. Then I found out that he was a Vietnam vet. Of course, like Mike's always looking out for my back, so you never know, right, Mike? If someone's talking to you, it's good or bad. But I try to smile so Mike knows that it's good. But my back was to him, and he was the chairman of an RTC off Cape, so he's real interested. In forming an RTC, so pretty pumped about that.
So RTC stands for Republican Town Committee, correct?
Yep, and he just relocated full-time into Eastham, where there supposedly is an RTC, but he can't seem to find it. And he said he is very interested in starting or joining an RTC if there's one existing already, but if not, starting one out there.
And he's just interested in being the chairman or one of the officers, which I thought was great because he has experience. And get this, Di, he'll join our pistol team.
Oh, so even better.
He's a Nam guy. He's got all kinds of, I think he said a Ruger 9mm, only 10 shots because it's Massachusetts. And I thought, wow, I would have thought you would have had an antique with, you know, a good 15 or 16. And he told me all the weapons that he had. And I said, great, let's have a competition. He goes, I don't know, but a great guy. You know who he did a show with?
Oh.
John, who was his that? Featherston, Mike?
Yeah, John Featherston from All Politics Are Local.
Yeah, Terry Hendricks, what a great guy. And he had a radio show, so that was pretty cool.
Excellent. So, you know, obviously to recap for the viewers, unfortunately, the opponents who had all the money and all the support by, I suppose, someone that has, even though he claims he's not paid a lot of money, he is Howie Carr. I'm sure some people out there know that name. He has basically done a 180 from being, what he proclaimed himself as a conservative to supporting all the rhinos in the state of Massachusetts, which was insane. So if you go back to 2022, he eviscerated Judy Crocker's character, couldn't stand her, hated her. And then all of a sudden he has her on a show this afternoon and they're like BFFs and he's calling like Daryl and Michael part of the Kool-Aid cult, whatever. I mean, he's just nuts. So they came up a little bit short. I mean, I think they put the fear of God into the Crockers because they've been in that position. Judy Crocker for 12 years, Will Crocker for at least 4. He was a former state rep. But they had so much money and they were putting so much in ads and, blanketing the social media, blanketing the radio airwaves. Heck, if we'd known they were going to sit there and spend that much, we should have sat there and given them Rick's name so they could have spent some dough on our show. You know what I mean? Right, Rick?
What we did get was a cool shout out from RKO.
Yes.
In the Cooner Man. I was upset that when Jeff Cooner said, "I don't sleep with no whore," he was quoting
a movie.
And as someone who's been an actual victim of sexual harassment, I don't have to go into details because Diane won't let me say that word.
Nope.
I don't appreciate a woman, trying to purposely denigrate someone who clearly said that they were quoting something. I don't want anyone to misrepresent the truth. Maybe that's her perception or whatever, but
when you have people such as us, I think we even heard it when he said it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was clearly a quote from a movie. And, that's what it just drives me crazy because it's the false, victimization is what it is. False victimization.
It's a Democrat.
And here's the thing. These are the same people that go on to the Howie Carr show.
Yeah.
Okay? They're hypocrites. They're hypocrites. Yes.
One of my friends, you know how Howie has names for everybody, Kool-Aid
yes.
and all that? One of my friends has tagged Howie as Hanoi Howie. Like Hanoi Jane.
He pretty much is.
Yeah, so he is a traitor, so he is Hanoi Howie to me from now on. And thank you, Jeff, for that. I'll take that with me.
But I just wanted to let you know that my husband was driving home and had the unfortunate displeasure to hear Judy Crocker on Howie Carr this afternoon. He said, "God bless Will Crocker because there's no way in hell he could listen to that voice day in and day out." He was like, so anyways,
did you have to add water to Alex and pull him out of the car? Because after he heard that, he just crumbled into a million pieces.
Well, he came in like, he goes, he was actually like, listening to how they were talking. And of course, he knows the whole saga. He's lived it with me, right? The whole election and all that stuff and my rantings and ravings and all that stuff. And he said, she's a liar, an out and out liar. He said she basically blamed because Howie Carr apparently asked her about all the seats being lost down the Cape. And she said, my opponents, they sat there and blamed all the seats being lost on me. And it was because we couldn't get money from Jim Lyons. Okay. In which case I was like, of course, because I had to go on Double D and say, please explain the seat loss to Julie and Sarah in 2020 and all of the seats that, when they ran unopposed, Dylan Fernandez, all those years, right? Jim Lyons didn't start till 2021 or 22. You can't. I'm like, does that sound familiar? Because it's right out of the Democrats' playbook. Remember?
Yep.
When Obama was in office and blamed George Bush 7 years into his 8-year term for everything prior?
So I inherited.
Let's
exactly
change the history.
Exactly. But, they thought there were people that said if Darylyn and Mike lost, that they were going to go off into the sunset and never to be heard again. Oh, no, au contraire. No, that is not what's going to be happening. So I think we can talk about something that Mike, Darylyn, and I we kind of knew it was kind of in the back burner, but something that we're bringing forth because there's about what 8,000 plus people, maybe a little less, that voted for you guys, right? And the reason they voted for you and Mike is because they don't feel like they have a place in the Massachusetts Republican Party right now, the way it's being run with like the Crockers down in the Cape and Islands. There's a lot of Republican town committees that feel they don't have a place. There's a lot of citizens that came forward. That's a lot of the issues that they spoke to you about, that they don't have a place. So, Mike, do you want to, kind of talk about Mike and I had a conversation today, our musings and an idea that's starting to form.
Well, yeah, I've been inundated with phone calls and text messages and emails today from people who have supported us for, the last year or two as leading up to this race that we were unsuccessful at yesterday. And they want representation. They want people that they can feel that they can actually work with. And we've been approached by several people saying, don't disappear, build something, let's go, let's do something. So we're going to be getting together. I don't know if I would call it a conservative think tank, but we're going to be getting together a group of like-minded people to advocate for issues that we believe in. And we're going to run candidates for positions that we believe should have competition. None of these seats should be going unopposed. If the establishment will not put up candidates to run for these seats, we will.
And we will support them as what you guys ran for your platform, Darrell. And you can talk about what you guys ran for the platform, because that's gonna go right over into what we're hoping to build down for the Cape and Islands.
3 things we can all agree on is personal responsibility, individual liberty, and fiscal constraint. We can, I don't want to say argue about the rest, but we can't all be 6-foot-tall blondes on the cover of Sports Illustrated. You take the good with the bad, but you care for the good. So the Mass GOP is now saying that they will not allow unenrolled people, even if they're conservative, to join the local RTC. So we believe it's really important to meet these people and to know who they are and ask them questions and make sure that we're aligned on those 3 things. In our job, Mike and I's job, is to be good stewards of the unity and progress of people who are conservative and people who care and people who have common sense on Cape Cod. We welcome people who are looking forward to solving problems.
And the 3 points that Darrell made, the points of agreement. We can accomplish so much by working with common points of agreement that we may never have to get to the point where we discuss the things we disagree on. When we start focusing on areas of commonality, there's a great many things that we can accomplish together as the citizenry, where we don't have to talk about the wedge issues, because both sides now use the wedge issues to drive us further and further apart at every opportunity. When we focus on areas of agreement, we can bypass that whole wedge issue.
I had a great discussion today with someone who worked the polls in Hyannis, and we discussed what we feel about Republicans primarying each other. So I said, it's too bad that we can't, because the primary time is so long and the general election is so short. I mentioned this to Amy Carnevale as well, that I believe that in Republican primaries, you should only be able to vote in the Republican primary if you're a Republican, because if people don't understand the privilege of being unenrolled. So say, for example, there was 100 Republicans in the town of Barnstable. I'm just using this. And all of a sudden 200 votes are cast. That's people who are running controlled opposition. And when your Biden sign is next to your sign at the polling location, it seems to me that your nexus to Democrats is extremely clear. That's one of the things that we will not tolerate, is someone who lies, cheats, or steals, or sells other people out for self-grandizement, and try to have people think that they're not. And I'm sorry. Oh, and by the way, and now that I'm not going to be the state committee person, I'm going to cure cancers. I'm going to bring world peace. I'm going to fly a jet. I'm going to learn how to jump out of an airplane, and then I'm going to take on immigration. So do you think I should run in 4 years for state committee?
Here's where I'm going to say something when it comes to the unenrolled. Okay, and this is my view on unenrolled. I think the unenrolled votes for a candidate specific to what they believe in. And they don't know at the point in time when these candidates start running if the person that they feel they align with the most is either on the Republican side or on the Democrat side. And I think that is a risk that a party can take by stating that they don't want either unenrolled to take part in the Republican or take part in the Democrat. And I think that's a risk because you want to take the people that have the same three strong beliefs that you say are part of it. And you want to embrace that so that they understand and are, I don't want to say sold by, but are with discussion and realize that they are far more conservative, which they will eventually enroll as a Republican. Do you see where I'm coming from on this? I'm not explaining it very well, but do you see where I'm coming from on this?
Well, here's my, if I get your general idea, here's my thought. Are you going to commit or are you not going to commit? It's all right to be unenrolled, but you don't have a party, or I believe that we should not be allowing the unenrolled Democrat to primary our own Republicans. For example, say you had a strong candidate and the Democrat side was extremely worried about a stronger candidate. Well, then they would have their vote pull out. All those Democrats would pull an unenrolled ticket and vote for the weaker candidate, Republican, to put that person forward. That's what we need to stop. I think that's a big reason why we're losing a lot of races. And then when you have Republicans like that are just basically on a leash for the Democrats.
I think the way around that, though, is to push legislation that puts a deadline on a date when they can enroll as either the Republican or the Democrat in like the primary, similar to like when New Hampshire did when it came to the presidential election. By October 6th, you had to declare whether you're going to be voting Republican or Democrat if you're unenrolled. Okay. If you're one or the other, you couldn't just all of a sudden decide, oh, I think I'm going to change my mind. You had to do it by a certain date. And perhaps, they need to do something similar to that in Massachusetts where, instead of, with these early voting and all that stuff, whatever. I mean, they just changed it where the unenrolled could vote in either party, right? In New Hampshire, it's not like that. In New Hampshire, you're either a Republican or you're a Democrat when it comes to that.
The Republicans in Massachusetts are continually claiming we need more Republicans. If you want more Republicans, close the primaries. Only Republicans can vote. And then unenrolled who want to support Republican candidates will join the Republican Party. If they want to add members of Republicans, close the primary, and you have to be a Republican to participate in it. Otherwise, you're never going to grow the party. If they can sit on the outside, what's that old saying? Why buy the cow?
So close the primary, which is similar to New Hampshire. Close the primary, and then it opens, obviously, for the general. Because that's when you can vote on either side. And that makes complete sense.
Yeah. A closed primary, I think, would build the Republican Party.
And it would stop games, from being played. Obviously, where you get rid of the stronger candidate and the weaker candidate is the one that runs.
Well, I mean, that is a Baker Republican. That's what a Baker Republican.
Oh my God, yes. That is your...
the perfect example is to take Matt Moratori and have him... he already has a secured Republican seat. We just lost the DA, the sheriff, the state rep, the state senate. We don't have any Republicans here. And I don't know how Steve Exaris is going to do. I wish he had reached out to say hello to us. Oh, he did go? Oh, that's nice.
He called me this morning.
But, it would have been nice to show some bipartisanship or, to at least reach out. So if people think that we're going to come around to be twisting ourselves into a pretzel for Democrats, we're not. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to be rude to the Democrats. That means that we are going to hold our elected Republicans responsible. Do Judy Crocker said that I can't force a candidate to go hold a flag for another candidate. You know what? Get your ass down there and hold the flag and put a smile on your face, because that person's going to help you. Stop with the division. It's one team, one fight. And that's what Mike and I want to say, that we should all be pushing in the same direction. I believe that husband and wife teams should not be on the state committee.
No. I mean, and it even goes for the ones that, like Jeff Deal and his wife. I mean, you're right. They should not be, because they're a single unit. Exactly. All right. There might be a candidate that's more comfortable working with the committee man or the committee woman separately. Do you know what I mean? And if you're a one unit, they're not going to feel comfortable.
I also think that the state committee races should be disclosed. And for someone who hasn't listened to us before, the Office of Campaign Finance keeps track. Sometimes people buy a whole bunch of sweatshirts and gear and they forget to put it on their OCPF account. That could technically be a violation, because you have to show the receipts. In the state committee race, and the reason why I think it's set up that way is that there's millions and tens of millions of dollars in gubernatorial races. Mm-hmm. That money doles out to these 80 state committee members, some of which will bend backwards, like the people that we know, to be bought in a certain direction. I also don't think that you should be able to be a state employee, because you're not allowed to raise money as a state committee man, and we should be raising money.
Right. I mean, there's
money coming from. They outspent us 10 to 1. Our media person estimated that they spent over $100,000.
I can tell you, more than likely, it would have been funneled through the Never Trump groups under the guise of they're good Republicans. And I'm telling you right now, Baker Republicans are part of the Never Trump. And that's probably where the money came from, like Project Lincoln, if they even have any money, God knows. But that's more than likely, in my opinion, because I don't know it's fact, is that it definitely came from those factions, because they are under the guise of saying they support Trump, because we all know the Crockers don't support Trump until about 2 weeks ago.
True.
When they realized if they didn't say it, they weren't going to get the support, because the majority of the people came out and voted for Trump. And you can tell by some of the top tickets where they just had the single name that they only voted for the top ticket.
Di, have you, and if you haven't, I'm sorry I brought it up, and we'll do it again, but have you had a time to check over some of that polling data, or are we going to go through that later, maybe next week?
Yeah, we'll have to go through that later. I did glance at a few of the towns and noticed, and I'll be honest with you, that had...
What do you mean you be honest? Aren't you always honest with me?
Yeah, I am, but and this goes for both of you, but if the majority of those blanks, and if people don't understand what blanks are, that usually means they only came in and voted for the top ticket, which would have been Trump, Nikki Haley, or whatnot. And they didn't vote for anything else down the ballot. And had all of those blanks been filled out for a candidate, and if you were the candidate, you would have trounced Judy Crocker, and Mike would have beat Will Crocker. And I think that's an area perhaps that needs to be focused on, which is to get information out there for the people that maybe, unless of course they were going in deliberately just like voting, you know what I mean?
Democrats that
yes, exactly. And that shows just how many of the votes could have been Democrat. All right. And they were probably just like, oh yeah, let's just vote for the first name on there. But I honestly think if the blank's been filled out and there's no ifs, ands, or buts, if those blanks numbers are accurate, you both would have won.
Well, I think we're going to take a deep
dive. But you tied in Provincetown.
That's amazing. That's because they know I love them down there.
That's right.
My state police friends on Girls Weekend.
You guys each got 21 votes.
I got 21.
You both got 21, but here's the thing, Darryl, and this is what I'm talking about, okay? We've identified triple that number of registered Republicans in Provincetown. So for whatever reason, they were not energized to come out and vote.
Can I tell you a funny story that happened yesterday?
Sure.
So we were, Mike and I were just, the rain had finally stopped and we're soaking wet, we're putting the heat on. And I said, I think we can go in and watch the process and watch them count the ballots. And he's like, I think you can. So, we go in and the woman's like, the polls are closing soon. I'm like, yeah, we voted. And she goes, you can't stand there. And I was like, excuse me? She goes, you can't intimidate the voters when they come in. I said, I don't understand. The polls close in like 2 minutes. She goes, you can't stand there. I said, am I to understand that my mere presence standing here is somehow intimidating?
But you can't, because that's a state law that you cannot be in there if you're a candidate.
There, I was not in. I was outside.
You were in the hallway.
I was in the hallway.
I understand, but they have a specific amount of feet that you're supposed to be away because that's what they call
it. Closed.
Yeah,
said you can't be here. You need to go in the other room.
And that is false.
I said, what? And she said, we're going to be here a long time. I said, I can wait because I want to learn about the process. So then 2 of them came out and said, the process is blah, blah, blah. I said, great. I'd love to watch it. No, you're not allowed to watch it.
Oh, yes, you are.
So I was like, okay. So another one of my friends was standing there and heard one of the women say, who we have identified, no, she's unenrolled. She meant to fill in that circle.
How would she know what she meant to fill in?
You're asking me?
That's what they were trained to do.
That's what they were trained to do. They were trained, if someone does blah, 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 and you think that's the one, fill it in for them. And we have witnesses that were told that. So the other thing in question was somehow a truck, a UPS truck from Wareham, somehow had bundles of mail-in ballots. So I said, from Wareham. So I called Amy Carnevale and I said, Amy, it seems like something, I don't know, maybe something's a little off. She goes, oh, I know we had problems with the mail. I said, but didn't mail-in voting end like three weeks ago? So if I can get a pair of socks through the mail in a day, why would it take a truckload of mail-in ballots to be infused into Hyannis? That
doesn't sound right.
So we're in the process of investigating that because all those postal trucks have GPS on them and whatnot. And of course we have some video. So
and here's the thing, okay, because one of the things was you received the tabulated count from the precincts. And from the 3 that you provided, all 3 of those precincts numbers all changed.
That is, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but you have to buy those votes. Is that, when you spend, do you have the list that we gave you? I don't know if it's totally complete. I don't know if we should say how much money that we spent just so they have an understanding. Or should we say that for next week?
Yeah, I don't have right in front of me.
Okay, we'll say that for next week because I don't want to put out anything that's not exact. But
what you can put out that's exact is that all the money that you guys spent came from all donors, people that that you have all the names for, other than whoever it was that paid for the mailers.
Have you heard? I thought this was from General Patton, because my husband says this quote too. But Di, I want you to hear this. This is my. Oh, did I fail to say that Mike and I are undaunted? And
no, you said that.
There's no way we're going to give up on the people of the Cape and Islands. So you lean on us, we'll lean on you. We're not going anywhere. And for someone to suggest by email that we lean into them, no thanks.
Did I miss that email?
I think you did.
So I was reading to Darylyn when I got here a little poem called "The Man in the Arena." Have you ever heard it, Di?
I actually have, I believe.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it now if you don't mind.
That's fine.
It's called "The Man in the Arena." It was written It was delivered April 23rd, 1910. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes out short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Can you read that last part again?
So that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So that's the sheep, in my opinion.
Does that mean my feet can't even touch losers ever?
Well, you're not supposed to hang around with them.
I mean, this is the one thing.
It's not losers that they're talking about, though. It's they're talking about.
I know
those
what they
who
mean.
fail
I'm
to
being
even
fresh.
try. The world is full of people who are too timid to even stand up and take a chance. Darylyn and I are not those people.
No. You know, I had to give a speech to a graduating class in high school. And all I said to them, one of the most important things that you need to learn is how to fail. And it's what you do when you fail that will lead you to either great success or not success. But you have to try. You know, you have to keep trying, because you will always fail if you never try. But if you try, you will never fail.
See, I don't see them as failures. I've never.
No, we're talking about the ones that sit there and you know.
They just give up.
Well, I just want to tell you this one thing, and I texted a friend of mine who's now, higher up in the state police. And when I was pregnant with my twins, I was 41 years old, and they said, you need to get up there and do your PT test. And I was big as a house. I mean, not like because I had two babies in me.
You had to do a PT test? Are you kidding me?
So my union rep, Tim Finney, goes, just go up and fail. I was like, what did you say? He goes, just go up and fail. And I immediately turned around and I started bawling my eyes out. And one of the guys I work with, Jack Wan, was like, come on. He saved me from embarrassment, from crying in front of my coworkers, put me in his cruiser. And he's got a wife and 3 kids, right? And he's really good with his family. And he goes, crying's not a sign of weakness. And I'm like, I know, because I'm pregnant, right? And it's just when you're in bad situations, we don't purposely fail anything, right? Nope. And that was his whole point, is you were in the military, you're a state trooper. We don't purposely fail anything.
Nope.
So to fail, if you take the failure in stride, like Michael and I have a meeting with some other people, and we're going to do an after action report. What did we do good? What did we do bad? What is statistically does it say? What did we spend? Why should we have to spend this much money? Where do we spend it properly? And maybe try to analyze what the other game was. But
well, I mean, here's the thing: you took lessons that you learned in 2022, and you applied them to this election, and you increased your visibility. You both increased your, reach out, which tripled, quadrupled, whatever you want to call it. And you're up against the machine. So now moving forward, how to combat that machine. Because what you guys learned was a huge lesson, because what you guys have learned, you're going to take for any candidates that will come to you and say, we want you to help us. And you can apply it towards their campaigns and reach their success.
And that's one of the things that was really poignant for us. And Mike and I said, man, we got to tell candidates to remember to sleep.
Oh, you're not kidding me.
we got to tell candidates to remember to eat well. Like Mike and I were at DJ Wings 2 days in a row. I was thrilled, but
I can't tell you. I mean, and I'm sure Mike knows this, how many times I would get up in the morning, and I usually can get up pretty early at 5, and I would see that Darylyn had been, putting out posts at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be like, "What are you doing? You need to sleep."
I still haven't slept because I just had so much to absorb, and I spoke to so many people, and there was such an outpouring. I want to read something that someone, if I can cue it up here, that someone sent me. I'm not going to say her name because she knows who she is, but she's just so sweet. She says, "I know it's not easy being in your shoes right now, and I'm praying in this time of hurt to work so hard and to give so much of yourself and not get the results we all hope for. I know it must be sad and so frustrating." Damn straight, girl. I want you to know you have made a big difference in many people's lives in showing them what a strong woman looks like who can fight for our state alongside Michael Arnold. I hope you take some time to mourn the loss and feel free to call me anytime if you want to chat about it or anything else. This isn't a reflection of what people want. It's just a sign that people don't truly know what's best for them. If they knew better, they would have known they want you in the position. But the light is shine now on Judy and Will to do all the things they promised to do, starting with immigration. What are we going to do about that?
Uh-huh.
What are we going to do about inflation, immigration? How are we going to support the police? And
How are we going to support candidates?
Yeah, how are we going to support candidates? Because we had 3 candidates lined up. We had a Senate candidate. We had a candidate for Sarah Peak and also one for Dylan Fernandez. And they came to us and said that they don't feel that they will be supported since Judy is already come out on Chris Lazon's host committee, which we're supposed to remain neutral, and they're worried that they're not going to get the same support that they would give Chris Lazon.
What you got when you ran in 2022.
Pretty much. All I got?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to also read that someone wrote this on Mike's page where they said, "Thank you both for all your hard work and your commitment to the Cape and Islands. Rest up because God has plans for you both."
Yes, he does.
I love you, Roxanne.
Roxanne. Foxy.
And I thought that was so sweet and people, these are people, because we monitor the pages and all that stuff, and they just, so many new people were coming out, and they were just in awe of what you guys had done and what you accomplished and what you stood for. I mean, and I could see it. I could see in all the people that supported you.
I had a pretty humble moment this morning when I was drinking my coffee, and I wrote a little post that I ended up putting on Facebook. But the amount of support that we had really was humbling, and to think that people, as hard as it is to make money and pay your bills and raise a family here on the Cape and the Islands, the fact that people would take their hard-earned money and support our campaign with it is very humbling when you take it into consideration. They were all, not all small donors, but we had people gave us $10, $5, $15.
$5, that crushed me.
$5. I mean, how awesome is that to know that people believe in you that much that they'll give you finances to run your campaign? And I was sitting there this morning and I was really humbled by it, thinking about, I thought I did fairly good because I'd never run for any kind of office before in my life. And people rallied to the message that Daryl and I were putting forward. And it really got to me this morning when I was having my coffee, and I was a little, well, I keep
emotional.
I was a little humbled and emotional. It was a good feeling.
Yeah, there came a time where, you get really exhausted when you're running, and, especially when you try to support other people and then they start to attack you for no reason. You're like, that's unnecessary, right? But the amount of people, as soon as we stepped out of the car, woo, people came over us. People hugged us that I didn't know, and I didn't mind hugging them because I had like 3 layers of clothes on because they don't want to get close to somebody you don't know, right? But we had actual conversation with people. We engaged with people. They were energized, and that's why I have a really hard time with these infused mail-in votes. And we are definitely going to investigate because there's a lot of discrepancy And, like in Alice Sinkovich's race, that woman, Cunningham, never showed up anywhere. So you know what she is? She's a bought and paid for scarlet letter person who sold her soul.
And Howie Carr supported somebody like that.
Yep.
Well, of course he did.
And, these are all the things that bother me. And we always,
Howie.
I have a Howie Dick Arnold. I can say that on our show. Oh, sorry, Mike. Sorry, Michael.
You're giving people with Arnold a bad name.
So, oh my God, I just totally lost my train of thought. But how do you vote for someone who lied in their campaign? I'm going to cure illness. I'm going to reduce inflation. So will it be reduced in a couple months? What's your plan to reduce inflation?
But here's the thing. Every single one of them that was supported by Howie Carr, they all sent out the same type of mailers with the same exact message, different phrasing, but still
so
same
nice
exact
Chris
message.
Ryan to pay for that. It was so nice of Chris Ryan to pay for all their text messaging.
And yet, Chris Ryan was the one who put a message to both you and Michael that you guys needed to win. So it's so confusing where here's someone that supposedly paid for all this stuff and then turns around and tells you guys that you guys need to win.
Mike and I have a tight circle, and we work well together. I don't know. I'd say I think it's an intervention because we can sit and do a video like it was nothing and back and forth because he doesn't share a brain like me and you share a brain.
Which is scary in itself, I'm sure. He's probably like, oh, actually, Mike witnessed that, didn't you, Mike?
It was scary.
So we only have a couple minutes left. So
scary.
do we tell people what we are planning to, like, we're not going to leave them and that we'd like to.
We're not going anywhere.
No. And if anything, I think what we share, because it's in the infant stages right now,
Stay tuned.
is that what we're hoping to do is to give all the people who supported you guys, who feel as though that the Crockers and the Cape and Islands are just, they've been abandoned because of the unwritten rule and whatnot. We're looking to make a home that basically embraces all the towns of the Cape and Islands. And the question is, it's not just going to be, for example, by districts. There's no reason why, if we set this model forth, that other areas can't do the same thing.
That's exactly right, Di. We have a very qualified marketing guy who's putting together a piece for us to go over in the next several days after we do our after action report. We have a data analysis guy who we're collecting the data. He's going to compile it in a form that we can use. Basically, we're putting together, for lack of a better term, a think tank. And we have some extremely, extremely qualified people that, after the debacle that happened in the election, are stepping forward. They don't want to see, again, Darylyn and I fade into the background. They want us to charge forward, and we're going to. And they're coming to us. We're not going to them. They're coming to us, just like the people that formed that Group 2 RTC. They're coming to Darylyn and I saying, where are we going? We've been following you. We want to continue following you. Where are we going? So this is the direction that we've chosen. We're going to get a group together. We're going to form a think tank. We're going to be truthful. We're going to be transparent, and we're going to be tenacious in everything that we do from here on out. We never do anything without a plan. And don't worry, folks. Just stay tuned. You're going to see a lot more good things to come out of Darylyn, Michael, and Diane.
And we will vet our candidates. We're not going to put up someone that we don't have faith in, because we're not state committee people. So, we will help Republicans, but not someone who's going to be a squishy jellyfish and is going to allow someone to put a leash on them and walk them around and tell them what to do and make them a hand puppet. No one wants that. Okay. First of all, no one wants that in a man because it's not sexy at all. We want someone who's going to stand up, speak up. We want our men to be men and have their own mind, speak their own mind, protect their women, protect their family. There's nothing wrong with that for men to be men. And if you want to run and you're a man, then show it. Show that you're respectful.
And the same thing for women that want to run. It's completely equal opportunity. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, as long as your beliefs and your message is the same direction, if you will, which is going to help Cape and Island residents prosper. Pay less for their groceries. Bring forth legislation, because here's the whole key. Republican state committee members have nothing to do with elections. They get the people elected that make the legislation. Okay. And that's where the whole problem of the ad campaigns, but I digress. We want the candidates to be able to bring the legislation forth that's going to assist Cape and Island residents. Right? I'm not eating my microphone. What are you talking about?
The microphone, not eat it.
I'm not eating it. I don't even have a microphone near my face.
Well, you're fair.
Probably because I'm waving my hands around.
It's probably your hair. I wish I would cut off a little toe to have hair like you.
My hands. All right. So, anyways, I won't repeat what I said.
We're going to see you maybe in a couple weeks, and I have even bigger conservative balls to hand out because I said that I would bring it.
As long as they're not blue.
Thank you.
Last time it was okay.
It's gonna
I have bubble wrap.
We've gone past that point, but the bubble wrap that I put her in didn't hurt anything. She's like, I can't breathe. Just open a little spot at the top.
I survived. I came back in one piece.
I had flashbacks. We were at the Yarmouth House the other day for the Cape Cod Women's Club, and I was like, don't everybody fall in the stairs.
Oh my gosh.
So everybody stay energized, stay pumped. We're exhausted, but we are not going to leave you. We have next week. We're going to have a really good announcement. We're all going to see each other. How about if we just say that? We're all going to see each other in a couple of weeks.
And Diane, what's the word of the day that we want everyone to learn the definition of?
Consortium.
Consortium. Everybody look up the word consortium.
I really wanted to say consortium, but, I'm going to be made fun of because it's kind of like,
Ready to add that word to your lexicon, to your dialogue.
That's a shout out to Kim because she told me how to pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, and don't forget, people, we are undaunted.
Undaunted.
That's right. So stay tuned. We'll see you at the end of our show.
Well, I don't know. We started a little late, so I don't know if
you got about 3-4 minutes left. Keep going.
I was worried that Rick pressed the red button and ejected himself again. Parachute Rick. I don't know. I'm goofy because I haven't gotten any sleep. But I'll tell you, Mike was so much fun to campaign with.
Wait. That's the excuse you're going with? It's because you had lack of sleep? Okay. I'll let it go.
I love you, Rick. You know what?
How fun was Mike to campaign with?
Mike, back to Mike, because Mike wants me to pat him on the back. Mike was so fun because people would come up and they'd be like, Mike would be like, how are you? My name's Michael. And next thing you know, they were like, so nice to meet you, Mike. I was going to go vote for you guys. I was like, wow, we're really like meeting people where they are. And
that's a good point. You have to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
You can't move anybody that doesn't want to be moved.
Exactly. That's a really good point.
And another thing we plan on doing, I don't even think we listed what we're going to do because we're just tired and we need a couple of days to kind of chill. One of our key things for Michael and I is education. So many people didn't know what state committee did and they left it blank. And, I think people should know that. But
I think a lot more people, because you guys got the word out, know what being a Republican state committee or a Democrat state committee person does now. Now that they know it, they can take what they've learned and look back and they can see in 2020 that a state senator, Julian Sear, had no opponent whatsoever. They can see now 6 years of a state seat that Dylan Fernandez held had no opponents, which collaboratively with...
So do you think the Democrats are going to allow Judy to win the Senate seat this time?
No.
Did
Julian
we go
Sear,
dark?
I mean, can you hear me?
No. Did we go dark?
No, I'm here.
Anyways, if we did go dark, thank you, everybody, for listening tonight.
Well, gee, I
And
think she
I hope
better say all I
nobody
want to say
fell
about
off their
Dallin because she can't hear me, can she, Rick? Can you hear me, Rick?
You did.
Yeah, I can hear you, but it sounds like you're using your
Whistleblower
microphone
in
again.
a couple
Not working,
weeks.
Mav.
They can't hear us, Rick. Yeah, let's talk about them.
Money, 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 money.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. Well, you know what, Rick? I think I'm gonna sit there and wind this up because they can't hear us. Show me money. Everybody, have a great week. We'll talk to you next week, and we'll try and round those guys up and calm them down and get down and some sleep.